Hi, Discord members. Welcome to today's analysis for Tuesday, September 2nd. We are finally now in the last 4 months of the year, and this is now going to be some really nice month with high volatility and volumes that are going to be coming in. If we look at the news, you can see tomorrow 10 a.m. JOLTS job opening report. Okay, and Thursday, Friday, we also have some big news, especially Friday non-farm payroll. That's going to be the big one to pay attention to. Okay, and also remember that we are the third Friday of September is going to be the expiration for the current CME contracts for ES and NQ. So again, that'll happen on Friday 19th. So probably on Thursday 18th, I'm going to be moving all my contracts into the December 2025, okay? But obviously, I'll keep mentioning this in the coming weeks, and I'll let you guys know, whatever changes I make and help you guide through the rollover period as well. So for now, we're still trading these September contracts, okay? So weekly chart, yes, you can see today we had pretty large push down at the London Europe Open, but then we had a nice recovery towards the end of New York. So we did leave a significant rejection wick here at the bottom. And going into the daily chart, you can see right now we are literally back into the 64.30 daily level. Okay, so this is a pretty significant area that we are in now. We just tested the 20 daily MA again, not a moving average I particularly use for signals, but just like to have it as a reference. And you can see the 50 MA is now pretty much almost going to be in line with the 63.70 daily level, which is our next main high time frame level to the downside. 4 hour. So you can see we almost hit the 63.70 daily level, which was the lows from 2 weeks ago. But then we had the big push up to close the day. So looking at this on the hourly, you can actually see the breakdown happened exactly here at 3 a.m. Literally when Europe and London markets opened, that's when we had this flush down to the downside at 3 in the morning. We talked a lot about the 63, 64, the 60s area, because this was the bottom support for this high volume node, okay? We had the push down right into the daily level, which was around the top edge, and the low here from last week on Tuesday. Broke through that and almost came to the next daily level, which was the lows from 2 weeks ago. And then this triggered a very nice move. As you can see, we have the high volume node flushed below it, and this was the low of extended hours. We're going to talk about this on the lower time frames, but we had the extended hour lows. We flushed down and then we recovered, and then we basically got back in the node, and we made an edge to edge move from side to side of this node that we were referencing, the large node we had here. You can see also the low point of this was pretty much lined up right into this point of control from this area down below. Ultimately, now to the upside, 64.53 and 64.64 are going to be the two levels that we are going to be looking at right at the bottom of this node. There's two major cuts in volumes near the bottom of the node right here. Downside, we want to see 6420s on any pullback holding into this big cuts that we have within this big node. Okay, maybe even coming down into this area. Let me zoom in. Right here, you can see we had this area of support that was broken up. So let me actually mark this off. I'm going to put a horizontal ray here just to reference this area. Pretty much here we have a impulsive gap that hasn't been filled down. So ideally we want to see this area holding, or if not, right around the breakout point here near the point of control of this node here. Okay, monthly and weekly VWAP, you can see they're overlapping because obviously this week and month are starting at the same time today on the open on Sunday night into Monday, but next week they're going to start splitting up, and you can see the VWAPs are lined up very nicely if we come into a retest of this 6413 level. Going into the hourly, or sorry, this is the hourly, going into the TPO. Well, first hourly with weekly profiles. So here you can see we do have an overlap of these low volume node areas. So this is in general this area that I'm saying any pullbacks here is where we want to see holding. Keep above the weekly, monthly VWAP as well. And then to the upside, we're looking at mainly this will be the ultimate target here. Obviously, we have the highs here first, but come up, break above this highs, and then come and fill back into the 64 level that we broke down from. Remember, I mentioned that we were putting in a descending triangle, and then we had the impulsive push down and the break below all these previous lows at the London Open. TPO. So here we have a bunch of little single prints, but the most significant would be this one that we put in on the overnight from Monday night into Tuesday. Okay, and you can see we're almost filled it in. So far we've put in a double top here from the RTH high and the ETH high now, but this 6450s will be our first target area that we were talking about here. Going into ticks. So if we zoom out, you can see overall when we opened on the extended hour session on Monday night at 6 p.m. when we were done with the holiday and we started now the real trading week. You can see we did push down, but we were holding this 64.64, which was this very significant area of support coming all the way back from Friday into the Monday holiday. And then right here was the London Open, and we just started a big impulsive move to the downside. We ended up closing the extended trading hours right near the lows. And you can see at the open, we flushed below the extended hours low, and then we recovered and we had a very nice over-under pattern. So remember, over-under pattern is when we do like this, when we have like, let's say, a left shoulder area, then the deviation down, and then we come and we retest this previous left area, and you can see that played out really nice here. Plus also the false breakdown setup where we had extended hours low, got broken down, and then we recovered and we ended up testing it really well at the open, push up, then we came down, and then right around here you can see right after Europe open between like 11:30 and noon, then cumulative delta started really turning up, as you can see right there. It was mostly almost sideways, even though price was heavily pushing down. But then here we really started just pushing up, and price and delta got in sync, and then we had a very nice continuation. You can see here really nice test of VWAP, break above, and then perfect retest back of VWAP for the continuation, and we ended up closing right at the high of the RTH session. Okay, if we go into the 5 minutes, you can see that for now we've slowly just been grinding down during the extended hours open. We're just above this naked point of control here, and you can see a big edge here. Pretty much was just the breakout which we had at 4:05 right after the close. So first area we're looking to fill in would be naked point of control. If this pushes down, here is the swing level that I'm talking about. So these two areas are ideally where I want to see price holding. I do not want to see price break below 63.96 will be afterwards, but ideally we can hold this areas here. If we take a Fibonacci, let me put this here, luck, Fibonacci retracement from the low to the high here at the extended hours open. So you can see 38% right into this first low volume node area. And you can see the nodes here. And then the VWAPs lining up with this swing high, 50% right over here as well. Okay, so that's the main areas I want to see holding. NASDAQ weekly. Same thing, push down, but rejection wick forming so far. Daily came and retested once again 23,112, and so far overnight we are starting to push down slightly. Here you can see the two main distributions we're talking about: high volume node, high volume node, high volume node. So all very well defined. Today, the low from today was right back into the 23,045 level, and then we came right back, and for now we are holding at this low volume node area. If we go into the hourly for more detail, we have here, same thing, this impulsive move down that broke this daily support level, 23,424, was right at the London Open. This is the one big high volume node, and then these are the next ones. Okay, and similarly to what we said in ES, we had the flush down, and then we came up, got back inside of the high volume node, and then we made our edge to edge move. And you can see we now have a pretty big fat profile here for the weekly as well. So right now we are just holding here. This is the area we'll want to see hold, and this is our immediate target up. 23,424 again, which was the broken level here of support. Any pushes further down, we have the hourly level lined up with the 50 MA, 23,275 ideally would be the area that we want to see holding on any pullbacks, but potentially we could even come back right around the point of control area right over here. So this would be similar to the one I put on ES, only this one would be here. Let me change the color, green, and this is lining up right above the point of control, okay? And if we do the Fibonacci as well, $38.2, 50. So yeah, if this area, if we cannot hold at the top of this node and start pushing up, then this would be the main area I'm looking for pullbacks right into these levels and into the point of control of this node below. Going into weekly profiles. So you can see here this general area of low volumes here that we're talking about, and then we also have this other cuts as well. So far we are holding in this area that I pointed out, which is also this top edge area of this node, but ideally any move down we're holding into this VWAP and into the 50 moving daily moving average. TPO, so RTH today we did fill the single prints that we had from Monday night into Tuesday. ES hasn't filled it, NASDAQ already filled it, and then to the downside you can see we have this little area here to fill. So we do have singles right here, 23,292 as a first target to fill. Plus we have our hourly level and that swing level as well. Ticks. We had our tiny holiday session on Monday here on the tick chart. And then you can see overnight we were overall holding this general area until London open, and that's when we really started the big breakdown, closing right near the lows. And same scenario that I talked about in ES with the failed breakdown setup, where you had the overnight low, we flushed below, and then market got back up. The nice thing with this setups is you know exactly where your invalidation is. So if you manage, let's say you managed to get long when we got back above VWAP, you know your stop loss is just going to go directly below the low that flushed these levels right over here. And if you see this even as like a right here, you know, this has like the last move up before the move down, almost like a breaker setup, and then we reclaim and then you could just get long right when we close above the breaker block, or you can see we did get actually a little back test here for the continuation and a clear invalidation below that level. Market did come back down, and literally just got a few points below the low from the morning, but then from there we started turning around again just before noon, and then we just grinded up the rest of the day. Here's some nice trendline breakouts to the upside, and we ended up closing near the high of day. And here's the same thing, but on the 5-minute chart. And here, just to jump a second on the 1 minute, because on the 5 minute you couldn't really see the breaker, but here on the 1 minute you can see we pretty much had this consolidation here. This was the lows. Push down, and then we recover back up, and then market just starts rallying from there. And then 5 minutes. Normally I don't go as deep into the 1 minute, because when I'm day trading, I'm usually just referencing my tick charts, which are pretty similar in terms of how granular they are to a 5-minute chart. Okay, so yeah, the setup we were looking was right here, just in more detail on the 1-minute chart. But you can see here, pretty evident resistance right at the overnight lows here. And then we get back above and turn this to support. Get back above VWAP. We didn't quite back test it, but we had the nice pullback and then the move up. And you can see overnight, for now, we are holding this low volume node area, but this is my overall first target to the upside, the daily level we've talked about. If this level goes, then we're looking first at the 23,275, and then into the 23,232 is the areas that I would really want to see this holding to start establishing a higher low on the higher time frames, and just go from there. Okay, that's pretty much it. Thanks all for tuning in. Hope you're having a great week, and we will talk again tomorrow.